I would say it's still early days. What we have to consider right now is that we've just had the first round of the weekend, whereas we're going to have a runoff over the coming weeks. So it's not all the dust has settled. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Generally speaking, though, any change specifically towards the far right party is potentially going to be a more of a negative way on EU economic sentiment, and that includes the markets such as EU financial markets, stock markets, that is, EU assets such as the euro. Not necessarily because the far right party are going to be negative for growth, but because of the uncertainty that it might cause the common currency in terms of more populist parties potentially uprising throughout Europe, which is a threat we saw before COVID. So now we're starting to see some light of this. Generally speaking, though, I would also consider what the impact might be on European central bank policy if there is a political change and if there is a sweeping change towards more political parties in Europe making such stands. But generally speaking, it's still early. I would say that the small rally in the euro this morning is more of a reflection that maybe there won't be a political change at all. But it's certainly something that we need to watch over the coming weeks and months. And personally, I see it as a reason to be more negative on the euro. And that's also based on expecting the US dollar, the greenback, to remain strong for the second half of this year.
Right, and we've seen quite a political shift in Europe. How is that impacting the bloc's economic stability?
At the moment, not much. But again, there's no smoke without fire, as the old saying goes. So if we do continue to see such movements, political movements, then yes, that is going to be a negative way to investors, because investors do not like uncertainty. And of course, if we have political changes, it's exactly that. It is uncertainty. But I'd also say that this isn't an issue that's idiosyncratic or isolated to Europe at all. We've got the UK elections over the coming days, and I think everybody is talking about what's happening in the United States with the US elections coming up at the end of 2024. So how I would wrap this up is saying that actually we need to refactor into our considerations that today is the first day of trading for the second half of 2024, and the theme is not just going to be about inflation and central bank policy. We also have to take into account political risk, which is something we weren't talking about just a few weeks ago.